Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Today we're going to be discussing the squad at Arsenal Football Club going into the new season, who we should sell, who we should let go, and we're going to be doing this in a tier list format. Obviously, if you do enjoy, please be sure to like and subscribe for more from me and on this channel. Thank you for watching, let's get straight into it. Right, so here we are. We have the squad list on the screen as we speak, and we'll go through the people that we are saying adios to first. Sterling obviously came on loan from Chelsea Football Club. The loan didn't work, and he wasn't a good pickup. So let his loan expire. Do not go in for him by any circumstance. Adios. Neto, one of the most wasteful loan bids in Premier League history. Horrendous signing. Cup tied when he joined. Adios. Marquinhos, just a youth player we got for like a couple of million that hasn't worked out. He's apparently already joined his new side permanently. Adios. Tierney, we know he's joined Celtic on a free transfer going back to his boyhood club. It's a shame for him. He was one of my personal favourite players at Arsenal during his time, but wish him the best of luck. He goes with his head held high. He always committed to Arsenal when he was here. Jorginho, £13 million well spent in the end. A seasoned veteran who was a coach on the pitch for Arteta and an absolutely great player for Arsenal for the 3 years he was here from Chelsea. This is what the squad looks like. We will obviously have Zubimendi and Kepa as well, but they are not in this list as it stands. So we may add them as we go on in the video. But we'll start off in no particular order. Hein, personally, Kepa's coming in. And we'll have two keepers then. He's obviously a young keeper, probably doesn't necessarily have the potential. I feel we're at the stage now where it's between adios, loan and pre-season, because he possibly could be the backup choice for Kepa when Kepa eventually leaves because he is 30. But for me, I think it's between loan and adios. I'd love to see him play some minutes in pre-season, but he just won't, let's be honest. I'm not willing to give up on him yet, so go for a loan and extend his contract a bit further to keep his sell-on value should he have a great loan. We will go with Mikel Merino next. Obviously, played striker, versatile, only joined last season. For me, he will be a solid bench option. He shouldn't be our first choice midfielder, but if he comes in when other players are out, I think he is more than capable of the job, and I think he's a very solid player. Mikel Merino will start with a bench option. Then we will go with David Raya. We know that this is going to be a first teamer. He's not going to be dropped. He's a great keeper. Let's put David Raya in the first team and get the easy suggestions out of the way. Sambi Lokonga, for me, it just hasn't worked out. I don't believe that Sevilla or where he was at loan have taken him up on the buy option. He's back with Arsenal, but he was a player who came in with potential. He never really made the grade. It looks like he's not comfortable waiting his turn at Arsenal, so it looks like he has to leave. I think that if he had the right attitude, he could stay and maybe replace Partey this season, but it doesn't look like he's going to. So at 25 years old, probably about 10 million, 8 million, something like that we can sell him for. Take a slight loss, unfortunately, but it looks like Sambi Lokonga will be going out the door. Now, for the next player, it's a shame as Reece Nelson is a hell-end individual who I actually really like and would be good depth if he wanted to stay. But he had a loan at Fulham, was terrific at the first part of the season. He then got an injury for the second half of the season, and apparently Fulham want to get Reece in on a permanent, so adios to Reece. Now we will go with Lewis Skelly. He's the easiest one here. Do I start him or do I bench him? Probably start maybe over Calafiori, but I do think Calafiori will probably win that left back position back. But he's just signed a new contract. Lewis Skelly is here to stay. Then we'll go with Calafiori, which is the other option. I will put him on the bench for now. Left centre back cover, left back cover. Creates chaos. I think he's very good. 1v1 defending I think needs to be worked on a little bit, but obviously that can be addressed in due course. Fabio Vieira, I would give pre-season. I think that he's a player who's obviously got that technical ability. I think we do need another creative midfielder who's a good passer in there, as the burden is too heavy on Ødegaard at the moment, especially if he gets injured. So for me, I'd give him pre-season. It does look like he will be leaving the club from all reports, but for me, I'd like to see how he does in pre-season, Nuno Tavares never worked out. He's going to be leaving at the end of his loan. So here we go. Now we're going on to basically the main players. We'll go Jurrien Timber first. For me, he's a bench option. Now people will be saying why. And that is because it goes hand in hand with who I think is the better right back, Ben White. I think Ben White is terrific when he's fully fit. That right side of Saka, White, Ødegaard is pretty much unstoppable. And he just offers a bit more going forwards than Jurrien does. But Jurrien in a big game, as a 1v1 defender, as a lockdown defender, I think he is probably would come in, and in that big game it would be more like White on the bench. But for over the course of the season, for me, Ben White should play more minutes. In terms of the next player on the list, we will go with Ethan Nwaneri. Obviously not going to start every game of the season. Too young for that. Maybe not developed enough for that. But a terrific talent nevertheless. And I think he would be a great bench option this season. If he's not going to get... If we do get Rodrigo in, some other players, and he's not going to get the minutes, then maybe loan him. But for now, where his position is in the squad, fine. Gabriel Jesus, he's going to have to be on the bench because we can't sell him. We can't loan him either. He's got an ACL injury. So, unfortunately, whatever you want to say, he's going to be around in the next season. And I think that it's such a shame because he started coming to form before his ACL injury. And that really knocked the two sails out of any momentum we had. Meant that Havertz had to have a lot more games. And unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. In terms of the Zinchenko, for me, I think it's time to move on from Zinchenko. He's, by default, probably the most underrated player in the Arsenal squad. 4-time Premier League winner, technically amazing. But unfortunately for me, he just doesn't have that defensive ability that we need in the current setup. If we changed our philosophy, changed the way we play, changed our formation and setup, and changed more to inverted fullback on that either side, more so that didn't need to do as much defensive responsibility as they do now, Zinchenko could be a good option. He could also play 8. When he played 8 in the Europa League, I thought that was probably his best performance of the season when he scored that screamer. So it's going to be a shame. I do think he's very good. I think he's valued more than a 10 million we've been touted with, but we didn't play him, so the value is dropped because of our own stupidity, really. Tomiyasu, for me, I'm going to say bench. I think in terms of defenders at the club, 1v1, left foot, right foot, I don't actually think there's many better than him at all. The issue is he's had 2 years of injury, so you don't. The best ability is availability, and Tomiyasu simply doesn't have that, and that's just a fact, unfortunately. So he's going to be on the bench for now. Should he come back to fitness and not be the same player, then you could maybe loan or sell. But for now, personally, I'd like to keep him. We will go with Declan Rice, easy first teamer. One of the best midfielders, most complete midfielders in the world. We will also go with Gabriel and Saliba. Firstly, I want to just say, Gabriel, in my opinion, had a better season than Saliba. I think he's actually a better player at the moment. More complete, can attack both boxes. But we'll talk about Saliba now. If we can't get Saliba tied down to a contract this year, as in this summer, he has to be looking at being sold in January. And that's the sad truth. We need him on a new contract as soon as possible. Gabriel's just signed a new deal. Saliba is needed. Otherwise, sell him now. Don't have a Trent situation, because that would be really bad. Thomas Partey. It looks like he's going to be sold. Caveat this. For me, I'd personally have him on the bench. When he came in, he was probably the best, or one of the top 3 best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. He was honestly unbelievable. He then had a long injury, which is a shame. And sort of since last season, his ball ability in terms of manipulating the play, in terms of dodging a player with a shoulder, is still there. He is top class. But then when you look at the issue with around the legs in the midfield over long distances, he is now off the boil. He's tipped over the edge and he doesn't have the legs anymore. So he's changed the type of player he is. What I will say about him is, with all the media issues going on around him, it might make more sense now just to move on. But if we can't afford to get the replacement this window, with Jorginho already leaving, it would be in Arsenal's best interest to sign him up, personally. Martinelli, easily start. If Rodrigo comes in, he probably drops down to bench. But Martinelli is better than Trossard, in my opinion, by a country mile. We'll get on to Trossard in a second. I don't really rate Trossard at all as a starter. As a bench player, he comes off the bench, he always makes an impact. When he starts, I feel that Trossard goes missing a bit. He doesn't really have that lightning pace to impact games from the off, especially in the system that Arsenal play. But that said, I do think Trossard is the best ball striker within the squad at the moment. So for me, these two do sometimes swap, depending on the opposition. But for me, Trossard is a bench player. Martinelli should start out of the options we've got available on this list. Kivior, we will discuss in a second. Actually, we'll go with Saka first. Saka's an obvious starter, as is captain Martin Ødegaard. Now, fun fact, Martin Ødegaard is my favourite Arsenal player, and I know he gets a lot of slack online, but I think he's unbelievable. If you watched him last season, I think the job, his role within the squad, especially with Partey's lack of movement and ability to progress the ball forwards through any other means other than passing due to his legs going, Ødegaard had to drop in to receive from the defence to get that ball and play it through the lines. He also had an injury halfway through the season. I think he was impacted. Last 2 games of the season, he upped his performance again, and what he did for Norway, I think he got 2 assists for Haaland in the subsequent great game at the end of the season. So for me, captain fantastic. He leads the line, he leads the press, he's so important, he communicates with all the players, he's a role model, absolutely keeps his place in the first team, at least for this season. Let him see if he's off the boil again and he doesn't have a good season, then you look at maybe benching or selling that asset. But for now, captain of Arsenal Football Club, in my opinion, world-class talent, not saying ability right now, but talent, he definitely should start in the first team. We will go with Kai Havertz next, starter for now. He will, no matter what, even if we sign Sesko, even if we sign Gyökeres, we could even sign Alexander Isak. Kai Havertz will start the first game of the season under Arteta, I have no doubt in my mind, and he will play a lot of games throughout the season, and that's great because he's a phenomenal player when he's not injured. So Kai Havertz will start, and then finally Kivior. Now, it depends. There's been links with Gerald Hato, right? So bench for now. But if you can sell Kivior for a decent price, bring in Hato, then I wouldn't be opposed to that. He showed his ability, and there is something in sell when the stock is high, so to speak. And the stock is certainly high at the moment with Kivior. So AC Milan have sniffed around him and Zinchenko. If we get good money, I wouldn't be opposed to selling, but by no chance loan him. Only sell if that's an option. If not, keep him around for the foreseeable. And that's that really. So I've said loan one player, pre-season Fabio, and then the rest of the team probably ranks like that to me. In terms of additions, if we bring in, when we bring in Zubimendi, he's the 11th man here, so he plays next to Rice, Ødegaard just in front, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz as the front line. But then I think if we got Rodrigo, Martinelli drops to the bench. Personally, if we get Sesko long term, Havertz probably drops to the bench. But this is just ranking the squad as it is right now. So that's what I'd go with in terms of the players leaving. Fine. Loan, I'd like to see Karl Hein develop and see what he can become at Arsenal, because I do think he's a very solid keeper. My worry with Raya, can I just say, because I did say he's not going to, I said earlier he's not going to potentially leave, but he's only 6 foot. And if you look at some things, he has to scramble a lot. And I think he's a great keeper, don't get me wrong. He's great on the ball and he won't be replaced. And he is very really dominant, but I do have a worry that he is only 6 foot. But anyway, that's my evaluation of the Arsenal squad. Thank you for watching. If you do enjoy, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.